Thank you for following America's Man's Man, just north of the hub of the universe. We're talking about Boston, Massachusetts. I was in the gym today, and I've been telling them, get rid of the bloody awful music. And I don't even want to mention the name of the song, because it's just so, I don't want to promote it at all, because there are a lot of godly men and women watching this video, aspiring to be good Christian men and women. The only reason I heard this is because I can't escape it. I'm just trying to work out. It's kind of a discount gym, but essentially the lyrics all promote whoredom, and I mention it. I don't have to say the specific name of the song, because so many of them of the songs, of the television shows, of the programs that the media promotes, and so here's how this is afflicting culture as a whole. You have to understand that women are women are inherently social creatures. They're creatures of society, more so than men. Men are primarily, the way God designed our brains, we are more interested in things and ideas. Women are more, and this has been proven time and time, over and over and over again, as Jordan Peterson will tell you. And he's a sociologist. He calls himself a sociologist. So he's not really the most conservative guy in the world, but even Jordan Peterson will tell you that women are social creatures. And so now, because they're also emotional creatures, they're approval seeking. Feminine energy is all about approval seeking behavior. And this is all rooted in biblical wisdom. We're not going to get there today, but I would refer you to americasmansman.wordpress.com before we kind of secure the domain there. We're temporarily located at americasmansman.wordpress.com. Check it out today, and let the America's Man's Man in you manifest as God designed it to. So this is how, now in Christianese we would say that, or in Bibleese, what have you, we would say that Satan has corrupted men and women. He's used, just like, you remember the fall in the garden. A lot of liberal, hermeneutical, hogwashers today at the seminaries, evil seminaries like Gordon Conwell, which are servants of Satan, and that's not too far from the truth. That is the truth. They will tell you that, Adam was negligent or whatever, and maybe he was, but we don't know that because the Bible doesn't tell us that. And as a Bible believer, I'm all about the Bible. The Puritans, America is an inherently Christian nation and religion, really. American Christianity, it's a belief, a steadfast belief in what the Puritans believed, a pure belief in the Bible, and God's will imprinted on every human soul, as C.S. Lewis said, in the form of natural revelation and scriptural revelation, which you get from the explicit directives of God on every page of Scripture in the 66 books of the Bible. So, how has media inflicted a cancer upon society, which we can sum up in one word: androgyny, which is men acting like women and vice versa, which contradicts the very natural law. Just as clearly as it's wrong to murder someone, it is wrong for a man to act like, to dress like a woman, and vice versa, because that's whoredom. And it may not be readily apparent to you. Whoredom. It's a biblical word, so just let's call it what it is, shall we? Just as sodomy is wrong, whoredom is wrong. Here's how Satan has gotten a hold of man. Just like in the garden, did Satan tempt Adam? Was Adam deceived? Eve was deceived. And I would suggest to you that it was Satan's way of corrupting Adam's heart. He used Eve to get to Adam, because he knew that Adam cared about Eve, and he knew that he could use the wiles which of Eve, characteristics of woman that God designed for good purposes, to be fruitful and multiply, as God told us in the garden, a good thing, a pure thing, a wonderful thing of God that he designed us to do, Satan took that and twisted it into an evil thing. How did he do it? He got to Eve. He took advantage of Eve's passionate, trusting, emotional nature. Because again, women are creatures of emotion, of receiving masculine energy, of receiving, and so Eve, unable to have the focus on things that men do inherently. Again, women are interested in people, men are interested in things as a generality. Of course, you add hormonal birth control and years and years of media brainwashing to the mix, and suddenly everybody's all confused. But inherently, ceteris paribus, men are interested in things, how things work, how to build a train, how to build the Eiffel Tower. I am the man that built the Eiffel Tower and the Great Wall of China. That's the kind of man I am, in the words of Ron Burgundy. So men are interested in things, women are interested in people and persons. And Eve found this curious talking snake, ever so curious. Kind of like those television shows that are on TV, targeted at the youngest, the most vulnerable among us. Little furry animals. I remember the DARE program, a very good and godly thing, although it could be more Bible-based, but I remember the parody videos it had of the drug dealers who were trying to reach and who do corrupt, unfortunately, young people and ruin their lives forever. They had a drug dealer and cigarette manufacturers dressed up as bunny rabbits. You remember the Camel cigarettes? Of course you do. And that's how they get to the children. And so anyway, so that's you have these television shows which especially Cartoon Network, it's so disgusting, and there's no artistic merit in it whatsoever. And yes, Disney, even the Disney Renaissance, you're all aware of the dirty messages in children's movies. Anyway, so men are interested in things, women are interested in relationships and receiving male energy. Larry Crabb wrote a book on it. He's kind of a liberal, but a very good point. He wrote a whole book on it about how men's job, our job as men, as Christian men, is to move into women's lives with the love of Christ, and it's a woman's job to receive that love. Doesn't matter whether it's in a marriage, in church, otherwise. Of course, the implications and the methods vary, but that's kind of what we're wired to do, and it's a good and godly thing that we're wired to do that, except for how Satan corrupted it. How did Satan corrupt it? He put a little snake, yes, a real, literal snake in the Garden of Eden. Got that snake to tempt Eve, and that's how he got to Adam. He knew if he could get to Eve, Eve would use her good and godly powers of comforting and offering, nurturing, and all the wonderful feminine things, and Satan used those good and glorious feminine, womanly things, which now women, for some reason, have rebelled against. Again, because of what happened in the garden, Satan took those, and he corrupted. He used those good and godly things and twisted them just a little bit. Did God really say you couldn't eat from? I don't want to misquote the Bible verse, but so. Anyhow, so Satan used Eve to get to Adam. That's what he did with that's what he's doing right now with the principality of the media in Silicon Valley. All forms of media, they're all the same. Be it newspaper, read amusing ourselves to death. Newspaper, television, internet. It's all media. It's all the principality of media, which Satan is using to corrupt everyone. And how is he doing it? He's doing it as he has since the fall in the garden. He's using woman to get to man. He's using our women to get to us. He's twisting them so that they will use their wiles to twist, not for godly purposes as God designed them, but to twist our souls. And that's how the culture of whoredom in America has developed. So basically, again, because women are creatures of a social nature, they need to conform. They have to conform. And so media has, just like the snake in the garden tempted Eve to get to Adam, the principality of media has made it so that women, it has convinced, through the whorish lyrics of the songs we listen to, it's convinced women that even though women in America were initially generally pure because we were all churched, we believed in the Bible, media has convinced women that it's in vogue to be a whore. To be frank, the whole pink campaign, of course, Victoria, people who wear, I still don't get it. It says love pink, but they don't even know what pink is because they have all these shirts that are actually, it says pink, but it's in blue or purple. It's like, at least, if you're going to say you love pink, at least let's start by knowing what pink is, shall we? But yeah, it's a whorish brand. It's a very whorish brand for a number of reasons, but and you should look up the origins of who is Victoria. What's it named after? All that. It's a curious but again satanic story. So bottom line is that Satan's used the principality of the media, just like he used the snake in the Old Testament in the beginning of time, to convince women that it's in vogue to be rebellious against God, and even though that of course that leads to a life of suffering, of bleeding, in the case of homosexuality, bleeding out of your it's very uncomfortable. Maybe that's why Satan wants. I don't know. I'm not gonna. I guess isn't that the ultimate androgyny? Men acting like women, men bleeding out of their. Anyhow, it's a strange thought, isn't it? But it's true. It's true. So, bottom line, Satan is using the principality of media, just like he used the snake in the garden. He's using Eve to get to Adam. He's using our godly women within the church, and has been for about 100 years of media now. In the most godly, most blessed nation, with the possible exception of Israel, to get to man. He's convinced women that, because again, women, they're vulnerable, they're weaker in mind. They need to conform. They have a compulsion to conform. You put a girl inside a group of whorish women, she will become a whore. You put an innocent woman in a group of godly women, she will conform and she will be more pure. And that's why women need to avoid whoredom like the plague, and they know this, and that's why they will expel. If they're in a group of pure church women, those church women will slowly but surely find a way to expel the whore from their group, and they should, or get her to repent, which is what we do as followers of Christ. So, anyhow, so basically, Satan has convinced women through media usage, which is propaganda, film being a propaganda tool initially invented by the Russians, famously to promote communism. The media is using through the lyrics and the pop music on the radio, pop music, which is really media music. It's really not popular at all. It's awful. It sucks. It really does, and that's what it gets women to do. So, Satan is using the principality of media to convince women that it's in vogue, that this is what everybody's doing, using the bandwagon approach. Everybody else is a whore, so you should dress like a whore too, even though they're really not. And this is how Satan convinces an entire American women to act like whores, which slowly but surely by seeding it, by using the old bandwagon approach. Everybody's doing it. Everybody's wearing low cut whorish outfits and sleeping around with a whole bunch of men because that's really cool. No, it gets you sick, but of course we won't go there. And that's how Satan has gotten hold of women, and he's using that to get to us, because men naturally want a godly woman, or they want something that at least looks like a woman. And so men in America, they look, well, gee, I guess this is it. We live in a culture of whores. No man actually wants a whorish woman because she's going to be unfaithful. She's going to end up miserable. And then the man will inherit that misery if he marries her. So we need to we really need to put our foot down here, stand against satanic lyrics. We need to drive Satan out of the garden of which is the Boston Garden, the Garden of America, and we need to hold women to a high standard. You notice that feminists are always, they're like, oh, you can't say whore. Well, they're becoming whores, and that's the thing. They think they have to conform. No, girls, you don't. You stand your ground. You stand your ground, you teen girls, you preteen girls. You hold on to your innocence, just like that song. This one's for the girls. You ever hear that? That's an example of an exception. Good people in God's country listening to the good country music, not all that alcohol junk. So bottom line, that's how Satan is using media, just as he used the snake in the garden to use women to get to men, to corrupt the souls of men. So that's why I stand so strongly against the principality of media, which Satan is using to destroy God's church in America, the most blessed nation that ever existed. This is godly wisdom, and if you are wise men, if you are wise young ladies, you will learn from it, and you will be edified, and you will live a prosperous life. You'll have a lot of babies, and they will birth a nation of new Americans who will make America godly and bless America as America has never been blessed before. But to do that, you have to realize who the enemy is, who we are, realize how we're vulnerable as men, how women are vulnerable as women to Satan. Satan's just doing what he's always done. He just happens to be using the principality of media in this current age. God bless you. I'm Peter Vidala, americasmansman.wordpress.com. We'll see you there.